Okay, and I think we're live this time. I messed this up last time I tried to do it. So here we are. It's Christmas Day. Last night we did something we haven't done as a family in a while. We actually all went to see a movie, and we thought we'd come on and just talk about it, our reaction to it real quick. So let me bring in our guests. First off, we have, it's a fitting, we're talking about Wicked, so we're going to bring in Elphaba.
Oh, hello there. What's up, yo? It's Alphaba. Had to crash my own review party, so here I am.
Well, it's great to have an actual member of the movie in with us. We also have another reference to Wicked. We have the harness for defying gravity.
Hey there. Yeah, if you can't read my background, it basically says Elphaba right after the Act 1 curtain falls, and it's just SpongeBob dangling in a harness. Because truly, if you've ever seen the musical, that's really what happens.
I guess that's why the intermission happens after that,
Yeah,
the end of that song.
they got to get her
And
out.
and let's bring in our special guest, Mommer plus the Pug.
Well, it's a special guest because I have a new avatar this time with my little addition, and she's also behind me. So the two of us are going to give our reviews.
Oh, she's actually with you. I have the Mulan's up here with me, but she's just still a little under the weather and just laying on the bed, chilling, just hanging out. All right, so we saw Wicked, and I was gonna start, right off the top, just talking about the movie poster controversy, where a fan took the picture and photoshopped it to look more like the playbill for the Broadway show, and I honestly am not a huge fan of the movie picture. I like the Broadway playbill better because it just evokes more of a mystery. Like, why is she smirking? Does she know something we don't know, or does she like what she's being told? And she's kind of hidden. And you know, I think Elphaba pointed out yesterday that they kind of recreated this scene in the movie with the eyes hidden and all that. So like, it's kind of iconic. This image here that they couldn't have done it for the poster. I think is a misrepresentation. And the poster, this poster doesn't really do anything for the movie for me.
Yeah. It's just a worse version of the original one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just honestly think this, I hate when people say this, but it's not that deep. People kind of hated this. I mean, even Cynthia Erivo, when she made that statement about it, about how people were adding it back to the original, I just think none of it was that deep. It looks cool, but I think the fan that edited it to look like the original wasn't trying to do anything harmful by it. I think, we mentioned this last night, but I think at the end of the day, it's a fail on the marketing team, and they just want you to see who the actress is in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. There's a huge fan base for this show. And they like to do, like, hey, can we make this look just like the playbill that, for the Broadway show that we love so much? And I think that's all it was about.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the playbill poster better, with the little flying monkeys in the background. I think it's because it makes you wonder, why is she smirking? What are these things behind her? Like, what's going on? All right. So anyway, I thought I pulled out the 5 main characters for the movie, and I thought maybe we could just go through how good they were in the performance. Because overall, I do have to say, this was a really good movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the show. The Harness and I saw the show 10 years ago. I think you were like 11, right? And
I was like 11, yeah.
We were going up to New York, and my mom got the tickets, and she was supposed to take you, but then she wasn't feeling well, so I took you, and I was like, "What is this show about?" And you're like, "Oh, it's Elphaba and Glinda, and when they were in high school together." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to see this dumb show." And then we walked out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to see this again." This was amazing. Yeah, I was blown away on Broadway by how good it was. And then Elphaba, you just saw it like 3 weeks ago on Broadway.
I saw it like the week before this movie came out, so it was like I think it was October or November or something. And then it was November, and then then I saw the movie that week after that, and then I saw the movie yesterday from the second time. So Broadway musical is incredible, is so good. And what I really can appreciate about this movie now that I've seen it 2 times is it is a very faithful adaptation, and the things they add work for it, and they did it justice, yo. They did it great justice.
So I'm going to add in here because I get a word in edgewise. Yeah. But two things. One, I think with this movie poster, you got to do time and place. So people today have a different way they approach life, and it's all about celebrity. And I think there's a very poignant and purposeful change because people want to see who they're coming to see. And it's all about the glitz and the celebrityism today. So I think the poster, it wasn't a marketing fail. I think it was a marketing, this is 2024. This is what people expected. And I'm also going to say that seeing a lot of Broadway shows, and we're kind of a Broadway family, this wasn't a great show. It wasn't a great storyline, but it was a good movie.
In your opinion.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment.
I would like to point out one other thing, because all the attention on the Photoshop was given to what they did to Cynthia Erivo with covering her eyes and giving her the red smirky lips. I don't know that a lot of people noticed. They also took Ariana Grande's hand and moved it up farther up her face to more match. I mean, it wasn't just like Cynthia Erivo. They were actually really trying to recreate the movie, the playbill, and they had moved her hand up in Photoshop too, which not the easiest thing to do, and blend it in and make it look good like that. So it was like actually pretty solid Photoshop. All right.
And I think it worked. And I think for today's generation and today's marketing, they want to see who they're going to go see, and they want their celebrityism. And I don't have any issue with the trailer. Like, yeah, it was so good. And I like the green lips versus the red lips, because I think it blends into what this storyline was trying to tell. So yeah, it is what it is.
Interesting. Okay, here we go. Well, green lips, speaking character number 1, Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. I thought she killed it. I thought not just the singing, because singing is off the charts good with her, but the acting too. Like when she's upset and she's crying, and she's feeling, left out or bullied, whatever. I honestly felt it with her. I totally bought into her 100% in every aspect of this character. She was great.
Well, thank you for the compliments, Grandalorian. I agree, I was great. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me is that, like, I loved her performance so much because she just, like, she completely was Elphaba. Like, you could take all the, the stuff, leading up to the movie away from it. Like, her as this character was literally, like, perfect. Like, the subtlety of her performance, the way that they, like, built up, like, her growing, like, kind of angst about what's going on, and the way that, she, like, you felt the sadness in, like, all the scenes that in the beginning. And in Broadway, when you're seeing them, in a theater, in a huge theater, in the back rows, you cannot tell the facial expressions of the person. So she really had to, like, kind of, really dive into this role and give it that depth that it needed, and she completely killed it. Also, the singing was incredible, so good. So yeah, I did a great job. Thank you very much.
Harness.
Yeah, I thought she was amazing. Oscar, like I said last night, she's gonna get an Oscar for this role. I think.
I hope so.
Put like mark it here. If she doesn't, I think that will be a rob. Like she would have been robbed of it. But I thought she was incredible. Like one of the best Elphabas ever. I think, if not the best. Obviously, it's a little different because it's a movie versus the seeing it on stage, but her acting was A++. Her singing is out of this world. I love her so much. And I cried. I shed some tears when she was during Defying Gravity. Obviously, we're going to get into the storyline a little bit more, but I just thought she was incredible. Like you said, I believe she was Elphaba. She wasn't Cynthia Erivo. She wasn't Harriet Tubman that was another big role she did. She was Elphaba through and through.
Yeah, she was.
Mommer.
So, yeah. If we're talking characters and roles, I gotta rewind a little bit. So Elphaba or Shrek Elphaba, you saw this on Broadway, and then you saw the movie, and you were sitting in the kitchen with your Alphaba +1 and you were playing the song, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this gal just doesn't have the voice for it. Like I was going in thinking, what am I getting myself into? Because I've never seen the show nor the movie. Never read the book. So I only saw Wizard of Oz. I was a little bit like, oh, okay, here we go. Christmas Eve. Like this is not traditional, whatever. And I was blown away by her performance. This was a one-man movie, one actor movie, I guess I should say, it'd be politically correct, right? She stole the show. It was all about her, which obviously it's about her, so it should be about her, but no other actor rose to her performance. And I'm glad that the audio was better, because didn't you say the first time it wasn't good when you saw it at the other cinema?
It was terrible. We went to Regal, not to like blast Regal, but literally you could not hear the music when they were singing. It was like they were singing a cappella. It sounded so bad. So it was much like balanced better when we saw it today at AMC or yesterday. So yeah.
So there's a lot of characters in this movie, and you can latch on to any which one, and you can get a storyline out of any which one. But this gal was a character actor. She literally came into the role. Her voice was something you could just melt your heart into. And yeah, I don't know that I shed a tear because I was a little bit tired. So I probably closed an eye a little bit, but not because it was bad. It just, oh my golly, nobody rose to her level of performance. That's what I'm just gonna say.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. Except one other person did rise to her level, and you guys are going to disagree with me on this, Elphaba and Harness. But I thought little young Elphaba was cute as a button.
Agreed.
Harness, weren't you like annoyed with her?
No, I thought little Elphaba was cute. I hated little Nessa.
Oh, little Nessa.
Yeah, we're watching it, and then the part where little Nessa goes, "Yeah," and Maddie just leans over and says, "I would beat her."
When she goes, yes, no. I was like, what are these choices?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. So let's put in here the scene at the end where big Elphaba's falling, or older Elphaba, I should say. I loved how they brought it back. Like this was just I love when they do that. They bring back to where they were. And I mean, that's the arc of every character. It should be anyway. And that was classic. And yeah, her storyline was really, well, in part, and we'll talk about that later.
I agree. I love that they added that because they had to show like to really like control her power. She just needed to embrace like who she was like from the very beginning. So I like that.
Yeah. Ariana Grande, singing wise, I feel like she was kind of pushed to the max to get her. I thought her performance was good. She wasn't amazing like Cynthia Erivo was, but like for a non-Broadway singer, I thought she did the best with what she could, and for a pop singer, she was amazing for what she was able to do. And then acting wise, I was really surprised at how good of an actress she was in this. Yeah, I was kind of stunned. She was good.
The first time I saw the movie, I honestly was kind of like, she's all right. But I think that's just because I was expecting to be a little bit like the ditziness to be toned up more just because I had just seen the Broadway play. And Galinda on the Broadway show is like something is mentally not right, just like extremely ditzy. But it's funny and it works when you're playing on theater because you want to like overact a little bit. So I think I was a little thrown off. But after watching the movie the second time, I actually do really like her as Galinda. I think she did a great job. I think her acting was good. I think her singing was good. And like she did what she needed to do. I think she did a great job. I don't think it was as good as Cynthia Erivo's performance, but it was definitely very good.
Yeah, I thought she did a really, really good job too. I thought she matched Elphaba really well. I think Ariana Grande was like a really great choice for this role. I will say I wish I've been seeing this on TikTok and I agree. I wish that they gave her more blush and made her eyebrows darker. She looked a little washed out to me. Like I feel like Galinda being very pink and like bright and like, you know, like you're kind of not ditzy, but like just very bubbly. Like I feel like her makeup really wasn't correct. She felt very like washed out. But I thought her acting was like amazing. I thought her singing was great. Obviously, Glinda's more of like an operatic role, and I thought she killed it. And I thought she was like just really good, a really good counterpart to Elphaba. And while they were so different, you know, we were talking about how even their images, like they're next to each other, they felt very different. But I think that almost worked in a way because the characters are very different. Like they're very, very different people, but they come together in the end, anyways. And I think once they came together, I was like, I believe that these are like best friends. And I think together they just had amazing chemistry and their voices blended on insanely. Like it was really beautiful all around. I thought she did a great job.
Mommer?
So I've had what, less than 24 hours, right, since we did this one time already. And I've thought about this a lot. And I think you should do another live thing or whatever this is called, streaming about why we changed our last name or why we didn't pronounce our last name. So I went in to be like, look, this gal literally made me pronounce my last name differently. I had a lot going in for her, and I've heard about her before. I wanted her to be, I think, different than what she was. And I think I wanted her to own the role. And I knew Glinda from The Wizard of Oz. So I think I was kind of really negative last night on her. She was a great supporting actress. This is not her show. This is all about Elphaba. So in the role of a supporting actress, she did phenomenal. The only thing I would say about her is she needs to maybe look a little bit more of a 20-year-old, and she just didn't look to match the age. And you can think whatever you want to think about that, but she just, whether it was makeup or whatever, I don't know, she needed a little bit more oomph to her whole stature. But as a supporting actress in terms of the singing, I don't know singing very well because I'm an untrained ear. I thought her singing was unbelievable. I thought her acting was just adorable, but she was an adorable little middle schooler. That's just kind of how her persona drove me. But yeah,
Not to, Laura, do you have anything else before I add something to that?
no, I think I was done.
I think the other thing that I loved was I was nervous to see how she would take on Popular because that's kind of Glinda's like big song, you know what I mean, in the movie. And I thought she did a great job. I thought she was really funny in it. I loved the choice she like. I also saw this on TikTok, but I agree. It just kind of scratched an itch in my brain when she did the right when Elphaba goes, they were popular, and then she does the right like that thing. I just thought the choices she was making were really cool, and I thought her version of Popular too was really really good. So yeah, just want to add that.
So for me, the one thing that I just cherished was her little hair flip. And if you want to talk about friends connecting, when Elphaba flips her cape at the end, I thought, yo, that's a connection. If you want to talk about friends like really bonding, I mean, Elphaba's a totally different character, a totally different trajectory. When she flipped her cape, I was like, that's a sign off that this is going somewhere. So yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. I really like that actually. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, next, moving right along. Nessa, I like Nessa. I thought she had a good singing voice, and I thought she was well cast in this. I was pretty pleased with her. You guys?
We deserve each other, me and Bach.
Me and Bach.
That's all.
Yeah, she was good. She was definitely good. I mean, I think the casting was good. I do think her singing voice is a little boring, just a little bit compared with, when she's next to everybody else in this show, but she was good. She was serviceable.
Anyone else? Mama, any comment?
No, it was, I think that was just, and I don't know the show. I don't know the book, but she just seemed, what is it called when you play a game, Bubby? And Elphaba, Shrek, Elphaba, and it's like a
non-play. She's an NPC.
Yeah, that's literally what she came across as, and it's a shame because it could have been more, but now that's what she came across as.
Wow, wow. And I feel like my casting here, the order I put them in, is going in descending order of singing ability. Maybe I should have done it the other way. So then we get. So I thought she had a good voice for this, and I thought she was good. Maybe he would have been before her because he was really good. I
Yeah.
don't really know much about this man playing Fiero, but you guys have seen him in Bridgerton.
Take it away, Harness.
This is your guy, right?
I love him. He was perfect. He's beautiful, gorgeous, talented. He can sing. He can dance. His acting was incredible. Yeah, he was in Bridgerton. He was Anthony. I was surprised when I saw that he was going to be in a movie musical, and I thought a little bit that it was going to be based off of just how much he was blowing up because of Bridgerton. So I was a little nervous that maybe he wouldn't be able to carry a role next to like the star-studded cast that they had of Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. But he was actually amazing. I thought he made the role really memorable and really funny. His chemistry with both Ariana and Cynthia, Elphaba and Glinda was beautiful. And he did a great job. There's nothing more I can say.
Yeah, I was really surprised how good his singing was, and also he did all of his own stunts in the Dancing Through Life thing. So he did that flip, like he did all the, I thought that was pretty cool.
I wondered if he did the flip because it looked. I didn't see like a moment where they would have cut away and swapped a stunt person in for him again.
Yeah,
You know,
he did
like,
it.
I wondered he did do that. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's amazing. All right, now we get to a weaker singer. Jeff Goldblum. I love Jeff Goldblum. I think Jeff Goldblum as a character for the Wizard is perfect. I think the little song he did, that was, I think, his upper limit for carrying that tune, and it wasn't very strong, if I say it that way. But it was serviceable for the movie, I thought.
Right, and especially because in like the show, like all the Wizard songs are kind of like he's not really like the supposed to be like the best singer. He's kind of just like he's kind of like he's kind of a con man or whatever. So I think it worked for me. I mean, the singing definitely wasn't the best, but better than Michelle Yeoh. Not
Oh,
give
my
Michelle
next
Yeoh
one.
catching some strays, but yeah, he was great. I love how he was just Jeff Goldblum. Like I think at this point Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum in whatever he's in, and it's perfect for this role. I just love it.
It's perfect for a lot of roles because I do like him in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then my girl, and I've been a fan of Michelle Yeoh for a long. I'm sorry, Mama, did you want to add to Jeff Goldblum?
And it may be segueing into this next actor, but think about this. So they're coalescing a Broadway show with a movie. And I'm sorry, but there's some Broadway shows that there is no singer theater person that can capture like Jeff Goldblum. Like he on a screen, nobody I've ever seen on Broadway captures his quirkiness, his ability to just, I don't know, he's him, right? So I don't know that I would have expected him to sing very well. And neither with Michelle Yeoh. Like she's got such a mastery of just poise and mastery of the facial expressions that I took her ability of or inability of singing. And I was like, yeah, but it's not about her for singing. And that's not what I expect on the movie. Like on a Broadway stage, I expect you to be a good singer. I expect you to carry that kind of, if it's a musical, which it is, carry that kind of genre. But on a movie, I don't expect that. I expect her to just carry the essence of the character. And those two, and if you talk about the conning, they're both con artists as the character in and of itself. They were totally perfect in their roles.
Yeah. They were good.
I think they just should have had her speaker lines and not sing them because it just stuck out to me like, oh, she's not a singer.
Yeah, I think my quick little 2 cents is that she was so good in her delivery. And like I remember I was about to, but I didn't because I didn't want to be annoying and keep talking in the movie. But I was about to turn to Doug when there was the part in the movie where she tells the like monkeys that Elphaba is the evil person, and she's delivering the lines of being like, you have to catch this fugitive, they're wicked. I was like, cold. She's cold. She did that so well. I felt a chill go down my spine. Like she's so good, and she's such a good actress that if I was a director too, I would also be like, I don't care that you can't sing.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
You're gonna eat this role up. And she did. She really, really did. So I thought she was great, even though her singing was actually abysmal. But it didn't have to be good. She was so good that I forgot about it by the end.
Oh, see, it scarred me because I'm such a Michelle Yeoh fan because I watched her in old Hong Kong kung fu flicks with Jackie Chan, and then there's a Bond girl, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then of course, was it 2 years ago? Everything Everywhere All at Once. She won the Academy Award for that. When she was really good in that too, and she is really good in this, except for that song.
Well, but see, this is where I think it sometimes it behooves you not to be skilled. I have no clue about pitch or tone or whatever, and I didn't think it was all that bad. Like to me, it was just somebody intonating with a little bit of melody, her words, and I didn't hear anything bad about it. And I was like, yeah, I could. I mean, as I said, it wasn't a stage, but it wasn't horrible for me, and it didn't detract from anything. It just sounded like she wasn't the main lead of a singer, and yeah, I expected her to really play the part, and she did. Oh my gosh. And she did more than anybody would have on stage. She was unbelievable.
So that were my 5 main in the cast. So I'm trying to avoid too much in the way of spoilers because maybe some people still haven't seen it yet, and we're late to the show with seeing this movie. So that's good. But so I'll just ask you guys, like everybody, I think we're all in agreement. Thumbs up on this if we Siskel and Ebert it.
Thumbs up for me.
Thumbs up for me.
Thumbs up.
I gotta go with and I don't want to give anything away, but I'm just gonna say I don't think this was a great storyline. And that
But
could
the
be
movie.
the movie. Okay, great singing, great songs, but if I'm going to see a movie and listen to a movie, I go to movies for a reason, to get something away from it. And no, I think there were so many things that just didn't work for me that I would not go back and see this. I would not recommend this.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, but Hunter, you got to understand, I wouldn't recommend this for the storyline. I feel like the storyline is an abysmal take on what society is, what we're really dealing with. I remember I'm an original Wizard of Oz person. It was too characterist. It was too cliche. I told you that coming out. I'm not a cliche person. I go for depth and for meaning and for thought. And I just thought whoever wrote the original book just didn't capture the essence of what this is all about.
Can I say what it means to me, I think?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm very much a new to Wicked guy as well. But I think what kind of touched me about this show is I can really relate to like going to a new place and feeling kind of like a bit of an outsider. Like, go to college and be like, whoa, like I'm struggling to find my niche, like where I feel like, when you first get to college, and then like, you see Elphaba and she's like singing like, she has some hope and she's like, walking through the fields. I'm like, I kind of relate to like just going for a walk and like, figuring everything out and like stuff like that. And then what I love about her character in this show is like, she the whole point of it is she does like get that confidence, but she doesn't lose sight of like who she is and her morals. And like, even though she may get pulled in different directions and the rewards for being pulled in those directions would be great, she stands true to who she is and what she believes in. And I think that that's just a good story. And I think it can relate to anybody. So I think that's what, and also like, she just wants the animals to be okay. And I love animals. So that's what I like.
And I appreciate what you're saying. And we don't need to get really deep in depth, but we have to, because this is what they're putting forth. She doesn't know who she is. She's never been told who she is. And that's, you start the movie with one premise and you never give a person the full scope to really understand their purpose, their meaning, their being. That's so wrong.
What do you mean? How does it not do that?
So think about, and Dad said that he didn't want spoilers, right? So, but she has no idea who she really is. and she goes to meet somebody and she has no idea who that is. How do you fully understand, and how do you fully arc your, and dad's real big into the arcs, right? The character arcs. She can't have that character arc because she never knew from the beginning. And I think it's a failure of the writer. She never had the full trajectory of her life. She's been battling all of her life, her identity. That's basically what the story is all about. And what I'm saying is, I think the story, and this is from a purely artistic and literature kind of analysis, the story never really gave her that finality. And so it just lost.
Bro,
so
did you listen to Defying Gravity?
I did, but
Did you see that scene, bro? And you're telling me there's no finality?
But she never knew.
She did at the end, though. That's the whole point.
She didn't know who the wizard was. She didn't.
No, but
She
that's not
doesn't
the
need
point.
to.
That
That's not
she
the-
found out
she
that the
knows who she
wizard,
is.
what
But
she
she-
was looking forward to this whole time to being with the wizard, actually wasn't what it all seemed, and what wasn't
know,
what it all
but
was
she
made out
didn't-
to be. It was a
But
ruse.
she didn't get the full information. Think about this. If you're given the full information of your life, if and pieces for her are still missing. So you're given, and maybe they'll do this in part 2, but you're never given the full information. You can't get to the full ending. And that's what
But
I'm saying. But
I
she
just
doesn't.
don't think that's. I think for the perspective of the movie, though, Defying Gravity, that whole point of that song is her realizing who she is and that she is good enough for herself.
But she doesn't know.
the wizard.
But she doesn't know who she is.
Yes, she
and-
does. Okay,
Wait,
we
what
should
is
just move
wait,
on.
I'm interested. Why do you keep saying she doesn't know who she is? Like, what,
Okay,
what is it
so
making you
you know,
say
so
that?
you
do
said
this
no
without
spoilers, right?
Spoiler. We need a spoiler for this.
Okay,
So
spoiler
Spoiler
warning now.
alert,
If you
you know,
if
okay,
you haven't
so-
seen it, then stop now. Okay, continue.
So she doesn't know who her father is. She doesn't know that she was basically conceived from an adulterous affair. She doesn't know that that's what happened, though, right? Her mom died because,
Well, her mom's asleep, right? She's just never woken up.
yeah, but her mom died because her father was trying to, her adopted
She died in
father.
childbirth.
Yeah, but no, she died in the second childbirth because her adopted father was trying to make sure that the second daughter wasn't like the first daughter. Like, if you really unpack all of that and then unpack what she grew up with, she never fully understands it because she never had the full understanding of what happened. All she
Yeah, but I don't think-
knows.
Does she need to know the technicality of who her actual father is to not know who she is as a person, though?
I don't think that's important to the story, like at all. I think the whole point of Defying Gravity is the moment, and you can talk about what you believe for this character, but I think what the point of the film is, and the point of the musical, and at least I don't know the man who wrote this, but the point is that Defying Gravity is the moment where she finds herself and where she knows who she is, and she realizes that the whole journey to find the wizard and that the wizard was going to fix everything for her was pointless because she's satisfied with herself.
Because he's a muggle.
Because
Yeah,
she realizes that she's good enough, and
Yeah,
that's the moment of that's the whole point of that song is that she's like,
She doesn't need him.
I'm good enough for myself.
Yeah,
I know
but
who I am, and I don't need to have some kind of like, far off fantasy about something that's gonna fix everything.
I don't think it's a fantasy. I think it's just about coming to who you really are. And it's
But that's,
interesting.
think
Just-
about the wizard. The way
I-
we start the movie is with this song where she says, "My life will be fixed when I meet the wizard, and everything will be unlimited for me." And then you come full circle back in Defying Gravity, and they added this, and I think it was a really good addition to the movie when she's up in the sky by herself, and she's like, "You know what? The future is unlimited, but not because of some dream fantasy, but because I can make it unlimited." And then
Yeah,
you know the
but-
moment where she's falling, and she sees the little girl, and she herself, and then she is able to grab hold of the broom and come back up, and that's when you have the big finale of that's the moment where it all ties together, and it's like, I'm what makes me unlimited. She's accepting who she was as a kid, and she's accepting herself now, and now she's unlocked her full potential, and that's
we'll
how
probably
it's
have
wrapped up.
2.5 hours of movie after this to wrap it up.
Yeah, and I
when
think
part two
if
comes
you
out.
don't find yourself without having the full truth. And that's just a different perspective. It's a lot older perspective, but until you really understand the truth of who you are, I think it's a very cliche, I can be all I am by myself. You can't. And I think that I can defy gravity. You can't. And it's a great little mantra, but
She flew though. She
the
flew.
the reality of life is that you can't, without fully understanding that your past and fully understanding who you are, where you came from, and then that trajectory takes you where you're going to be.
So if
It just, anyway, hold on, let me just finish.
Sorry,
because
yeah,
I'll give you
continue.
guys free reign to talk. And it's interesting from the different generations. I just felt when I look at the Broadway shows, right? Because that's what I'm going to compare it to. When I look at this compared to Les Mis, the full redemptive arc of that. When I look at Ragtime, when I look at even The Lion King, which is total, looking at who you are, where you come from, this storyline just didn't capture it for me. Now, the songs, the ideas, yeah, they're great, and that they need to be, I think, for all of us, really delved into, because I think everybody, whether they want to admit to it or not, feels out of place. Even if you're popular, I think at some point you feel out of place. And Senior and I can definitely attest to that for the kids that, no kid really feels totally in and of themselves. But I just think this storyline just kind of missed it. The boat of growing up and just assuming who you are, just because they didn't fully address, it was too cliche. Just too cliche.
Okay. And we could agree to disagree, but I think we need to move on.
I don't
hold
agree.
on, I just want to ask one question. So, Mom, when she got to the wizard, if Jeff Goldblum was like, oh, by the way, Elphaba, I'm your father, would you have? And then she had to grapple with that. Would you have think it was a better movie?
Oh, totally. Because then there would be there wouldn't be deception. There'd be truth to what she's dealing with. And she would have had to wrestle with that. And it wouldn't have been, I can defy gravity on my own. You can't do anything on your own, whether you like to think so or not. I think that's one of the failures of young youth, is that you think, oh, I got this. You don't. When you grow up, you really get older, you learn so much more about yourself, in that you look back to, oh, okay, this is how it all connects. This is how I need to be a better person. Not because of me. I can't do anything on my own. It's based on who supports me. So anyway, just a very different kind of analysis. And I think it's interesting again, the movie for me was entertaining. I think this gal deserves every bit of credit and then some. She captured every essence of this role, and she deserves what it would be. It'd be an Oscar because it's a movie. And if she plays it on Broadway, she should get a Tony. She is an unbelievable talent. I don't care for the show Wicked at all. It would not be in any bit of my top 10.
Can't please
Okay.
everybody.
Interesting. Hey, we're at like 38 minutes. This has been a
Yeah.
long stream on this one. And we gotta get ready to head out. So hey, can we get everybody back and just on another night this week and talk about that Snow White trailer before the movie, because that was our first look at that, and talk about that movie a little bit, because wow, I got thoughts.
Looks great.
Yeah,
Can't wait to watch it.
it would be great if it was rendered on a PS2, but all right. So let's end it there and get out of here. And thanks for anybody who tuned in, especially Lewis there, if you're still there. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.